Hey everyone, so I'm back with a highly requested video. I get this question a lot. How do I get my edges to be so full? So before I had my baby, I had really full edges, but now I'm dealing with postpartum shedding, which is something that kind of happens naturally after you have a baby. You start to lose your hair. But before I had him, of course, my edges were super full. I used to get so many questions on what I do to get my edges so full. Why are my edges so thick? How do I get them so thick? So I'm going to be sharing with you guys some tips and tricks on how to get your edges full, how to prevent them from thinning out, and so on. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but not everyone has naturally thick or full edges. Some of us naturally just have fine or thin edges. It's just the way that it is. So that is hereditary. But I have heard many people say that Jamaican black castor oil or regular castor oil works for thickening the hair, whether it be your edges, your nape, or just all over your hair, your eyebrows, even your eyelashes. I've heard really great things about Jamaican black castor oil or plain old castor oil thickening up hair. Another tip for caring for your edges is not applying edge control and gel to your edges daily. The constant brushing and the drying products to your edges can definitely thin it out. Another really good tip is not to constantly do updos. So for example, wearing a puff, what I'm wearing right now, is something that you don't want to do on a regular basis. To me, I probably would wear my puff up for about 2 days out of the week, and then it's probably time to wash and do a different style. So the constant pulling and tugging on the edges can definitely break them off and thin them out. So of course, I kind of already touched on this, but constantly brushing your hair, brushing the edges can definitely thin them out. The constant friction against your hair can definitely break them off. So another really good tip is if you're going to apply edge control or gel to your hair constantly or on a regular basis, it's a good idea to moisturize that area first and then apply the gel or edge control. A lot of edge controls and gels these days have alcohol, and alcohol can be a little bit harsh on our edges, which can lead to them breaking off and them thinning out. Another really great tip is to sleep with a silk or satin bonnet or silk or satin scarf at night. Using something that is cotton on your hair at night can cause breakage, the constant rubbing, and also cotton is known for sucking out moisture. So if you remove moisture from your hair, it's going to be dry and that's going to lead to breaking. So of course, going back to the updos, you definitely want to try and stay away from styles that are too tight. So for example, box braids, twists, puffs. Any style that is causing a lot of tension on the edges is obviously going to lead to breakage. So now going back to the gel and edge control, if you use gel and edge control often, definitely recommend for you to use shampoo to remove the alcohol, remove the gel or the edge control from your edges. So that way it's not sitting on your hair for weeks and weeks and weeks. So going back to my first point with the Jamaican black castor oil, if you are noticing that maybe your edges are thinning out, you know that they were thicker before and now they're thinner, definitely try doing a scalp massage with Jamaican black castor oil or just regular castor oil. Scalp massages definitely help to stimulate blood flow and help to promote hair growth. So some of us do love to wear wigs. So if you are the type that does love to wear wigs, sew-ins, and so on, I would highly recommend trying not to apply glue directly to your edges. Glue can be very harsh on the hair, especially when it comes to trying to remove it. Removing it can pull out some of your edges. So one that I definitely live by is you don't have to lay your edges. I know in a lot of tutorials, I know on Instagram and just friends and family members, you will see that a lot of girls are always slicking down their edges, doing their baby hairs. That constant brushing, again, the constant brushing, even if it's with a fine-tooth comb or a soft brush, over time that can lead to breakage. So you don't always have to lay your edges or do your baby hairs. I, for one, I hardly do it. Once in a while I'll do it for a video or so, but for the most part, I don't really do it. Our edges tend to be very fine, very delicate. The hairs at the front of our head is very, very thin. So you want to be very delicate with them. You want to moisturize it, you want to oil it, you want to be careful with all the brushing and the different products that you're applying to that area. Also, my last tip is to give protective styling a break, because sometimes protective styling, for example, braids and twists, it really pulls on our edges, and sometimes you don't realize that until after you take out the braids or after a whole week of wearing your hair in a puff. So be very careful with long-term protective styling when it comes to your edges, even your nape. Wearing styles, for example, like twist outs and braid outs where there's no tension at all on the hairline is a really great way to switch up between a long-term protective style and just something that's kind of just free. So those are my tips on caring for your edges. Like I said before, some of us naturally have thick edges, some of us have naturally thinner edges. So hopefully this video was helpful, and if it was, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also if you have any tips on how to get thicker edges or how to avoid thinning of the edges, definitely comment that down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.